Actually, the public for their support. It's been a very busy year for us with a lot of interesting and sad turns, but I think we've come through it, and I think everybody just has to recognize that we needed the board support during the events of the Queen of the North, but we also needed the public support, and we appreciate all of that. In terms of the system, again, very similar. We've had this chart in the past. I don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but clearly we've got a responsibility to move goods and services up and down the coast of British Columbia. It's a very strong network. It's a very important network, and it has to function well to meet the needs of this very growing economy. The fleet, a year ago, would have said 35 vessels. In the near future, it'll say a lot more, but that's the status today, a wide range of vessels that meet the needs of different markets. The key thing, again, we said it before, have to say it again, it's one of the largest, it's one of the oldest, and our job is to fix that, and that process is well underway. I think the key change on this chart, a year ago would have said, or 2 years ago, that it would be about $2 billion invested in ships and terminals. That number is probably up to $2.5 billion. Changes in this particular market in shipbuilding. It's very, very strong today around the world. A lot of shipyards are busy. They're charging more for their product. The cost of goods have gone up. Simple things like the engines, not that they're simple, but of course that cost has gone up anywhere near 40%. The other issue, terminal construction in BC, we've got a very strong construction market, and we're going to have to absorb those costs as we go forward. Again, all of this funded, half of it through the capital markets and the other half through internal cash flow. Our role, again, we're an integrated transportation system. We have to move the goods and services, we have to link the communities, and again, I think we have to be a big player in the tourism market if we're to make this province as strong as it should be, and that's one of our key issues as we go forward. Traffic trends, again, fairly flat, although it was our fourth largest year of moving vehicles. We still seem to be moving forward in that count. I'd like to see it again above 10 million vehicles. I still think we can do it. We have to add some more sailings, maybe some different routes. And again, I'd like to see the passenger traffic up near the 25 million mark. But if we're seeing just in the last few months encouraging signs of growth coming back into the market, we're actually up, I think, 3% this month over the previous year. And if we can get that kind of momentum going again, we should get higher and better numbers. But again, fairly stable, which is actually good for making capital investments, but you'd like to see more growth in the market. Again, throughout the system, you'll see some different changes. Route 1, you can see it's relatively flat, again, from Swassen to Swartz Bay. Go down to Route 30, where we're starting to see numbers twice this in terms of growth in the last 3 or 4 months. So I think there's a bit of shift going on. I'm not quite sure why we're taking more vehicles on Route 12. Maybe there's more incidents of the Malahat, I don't know. But the passenger counts are down. And then you've got, again, a different issue going on Route 20. So it's a different marketplace throughout the system. We have to react to it, and we have to meet the needs of the marketplace. We do customer satisfaction surveys. Betty mentioned that. The full year last year, we had a satisfaction rating of 86%. We published that. It's on the webpage. Our first survey we watched very closely this year in June. It was after the sinking of the Queen of the North. We had an 89% satisfaction. The key component we looked at was what was the public's response to safety, and it carried forward from the previous year. So again, the areas of strength within the company, employees, safety, the website, and an important element, everybody's looking at on-time departures and still expecting us to move that vessel back and forth so they have some reliability and dependability, and we've been performing better than we have in the past. Our opportunities for improvement, again, foot passenger services rank right at the top. There is always an issue around communication. Again, the biggest thing people will tell you is when you're sitting in my car, I can't hear the announcements. I hate to tell you, most of the time people have the windows up, but that's part of the problem we'll deal with. We're doing some other enhancements to local communications in the terminals. And of course, a major concern to everybody, including us, is the issue of fuel surcharges and the impact they could have on travel throughout the system. A lot of questions in the past is what kind of impact do we have on the economy? We've got a number of different individuals employed here full-time. We do a substantial amount, over $250 million in payroll, but we also spend $164 million in other operating expenditures, $136 million locally in capital programs, all in almost $600 million supporting the local economy. So BC Ferries in itself is a big contributor to the economy, and we'll continue doing that as we go forward. Again, Betty talked about this quite a bit, that safety is our #1 priority. It will continue to be no matter what. We look at improved service delivery as we go forward. As we bring on new vessels, we've got 7 under various stages of construction and delivery. We'll take delivery of the first vessel, I think, at the end of this year in December, out of Allied Shipyards in North Vancouver, the little vessel we bought out of all places, Utah. We've upgraded our terminals across the board, improved customer amenities throughout the system. Again, things like the web page, the announcements coming up and down as you see these message boards on the highway. And again, we're looking for ways to expand the business. The Sydney terminal, we've been successful in negotiating with the town there. They've selected us. We've got some final details to work out, but we're planning on going in there, improving the terminal, and seeing if there's some other opportunities out of that venue. And again, with spare ships that we're going to end up with, our B-class vessels, we should look at other opportunities, whether it's overnight drop trailer service, incremental sailings that we'll be able to take on, but again, find some new opportunities and take advantage of the assets that we already have in place. Again, safety, I don't know how else to reemphasize it other than it's not negotiable within the company. It can't be. I think every employee understands that. I think they live it day in and out, day out. We're regulated by Transport Canada that works hard to make sure that all the regulations are kept up to date. They'll be issuing new regulations hopefully in the next year around safety. We'll have to adhere to everything that they put forward. We have, again, a safety management system that's been in the company voluntarily for a long period of time. Lloyd's Register, which is probably the leading expert around the world in doing safety audits, audits of BC Ferries around safety. And recently, coming off again the Queen of the North event, we went out, had hired George Morford, who's done a safety audit before. He's in doing it now. I suspect by December we'll issue that report. We'll be happy to share it with everybody. That report will go to the board of directors so that there's, again, a direct line in terms of what the results are. And I think we'll do this safety audit every 5 years. I don't think we should wait for an event or anything. I think we should just take it head on and let George run with it. He understands the system, and I just think it's a good way of doing a self-evaluation at the same time getting a quality person from the outside.